Hey, it's me, MLB, back with Chapter 4 of Be With Me. This is titled Reunited. Sharky isn't coming back, sweetheart. Her words hit you like a slap in the face. What? You asked numbly. Sharky and his mum have had to move to another place, darling, she said as softly as she could muster. No, but they live next door, you replied, still not quite understanding the full extent of your mother's words. They did live next door, but they've had to move, sweetheart. Sharky isn't coming back. But why isn't he coming back? He has to come back. I'm his best friend, you said, hoping that your strong words would magically bring him back to you. I know, honey, but he can't come back because he has to live at his new house. But I don't want him to have a new house. I want him to come back here. You pouted, a tear falling down your cheek. Will he come back tomorrow? You asked hopefully. No, sweetheart, he's never coming back. Will I see him again? Darling, I'm not sure. But, Mummy, it's not fair, you tried to yell, your emotion catching your voice in your throat. I know, sweetheart, I know, your mum replied, her own eyes welling up with tears. Doesn't he want to be my friend anymore? Your 4-year-old brain was desperately trying to justify him leaving you, tears falling faster down your cheeks. Oh, honey, no, he definitely wanted to be your friend, but he has to go and be with his mummy. The conversation went around and around and around for another hour as you tried everything possible to make it so that he would come back, but to no avail. As the weight of losing your best friend finally hit you, you dissolved into an inconsolable mess, mourning terribly for your loss of your Sharky. You ran to the front door and flung it open, screaming at the men who dared to take your dear Sharky's things away, telling them that they were bad men and that you'd make them pay for taking his house away from you. You thought that they were the ones responsible for him being moved away. For the next 3 weeks you refused to eat, you cried often, and you were a shell of your former self. You pined for your best friend and dreamed about him often. Years went by, and the pain of losing him lessened, but he was always in the back of your mind, and occasionally you'd wonder where he was and what he was doing. Would you ever see him again? 11 years went past, and you finally finished primary school and applied for the support studies sector at UA, a prestigious high school for heroes and hero assistants. You got in. You were ecstatic. 2 weeks had gone by, and you'd settled in nicely. There were a lot of lovely people in your class, and you'd started to venture out a bit more. You found yourself in the presence of a bubbly, vivacious young girl named Mei Hatsume, and you found her quite endearing. One afternoon she bounced into class and bounded up to you. Hey, Yin, have you seen the Hero Class 1A here? She whispered excitedly. No, why? You asked curiously. You should go and sneak a peek at them. There are some really super good-looking guys in that class. You laughed. Oh, really? You weren't particularly interested in guys at that moment. Your studies came first, but sure, you liked boys, so maybe it wouldn't hurt to take a little sneak peek. Quick, go and have a look before the next class starts, she encouraged. Okay, you laughed. Pulling yourself up from your seat, you casually strolled out the door. You wandered down the hall and stopped when you saw the sign 1A above the door. This must be it, you thought. You sneaked past the open front door of the classroom and made your way up to the back door, sliding it open ever so slowly. You put an eye up against the open slot and glanced around. The first guy that you saw had extremely striking hair. It was red and white, split directly down the middle. His facial features were perfect, and you couldn't help but oogle him for a bit. He was standing side on, and as he tilted his head, talking to a classmate, you saw that he had 2 different coloured eyes too, one grey and one blue. Is this a modelling class or a hero class, you wondered. Your eyes left the good-looking dual-haired coloured guy and settled on a very angry-looking ash blonde. He had brilliant red eyes and appeared quite muscular. He was talking to a spiky redhead who had his back to you. He's good-looking too, you thought. Your eyes moved on. The next guy was a yellow-haired, friendly and bright-looking fellow with a sharp black lightning bolt through his fringe. His smile was captivating, and you found yourself smiling along with him. That's how infectious it was. All these guys are so good-looking, you thought. You pushed the door open a little more to see further in, but a loud voice stopped you in your tracks. Oi! What the... you looking at, extra? You froze. All eyes were on you immediately, and you quickly located the person behind the loud voice. It was the angry-looking blonde. No surprises there. Sorry, you fumbled for an explanation. Get the out of here, he hollered, getting up out of his seat and marching towards you. You were about to make a run for it when a voice behind you stopped you dead in your tracks. Icky? You glanced past the angry blonde, who was still walking towards you, and locked eyes with the muscular redhead, the guy who had had his back to you. You studied his face, and then suddenly realised who it was. "Sharky," you gasped. "Sharky, is that you?" You barreled past the angry blonde and ran towards the redhead. He beamed at you, and you saw those so familiar sharp teeth. "Sharky, it is you," you yelled as you threw yourself into his arms. He grabbed you tightly and buried his head into the side of your neck. "Sharky, your hair, it's red now," you exclaimed, pulling back so you could look at him. He had tears in his eyes. "Icky, I missed you. I've missed you so much," he said, fighting to hold the tears at bay. "What the kind of a nickname's Icky?" the angry blonde yelled as you two remained in a tight embrace. And there ends Chapter 4. Please stay tuned for Chapter 5, coming very soon.